Hi guys, producer Petch here, and we are about to dive into another episode of Petch Pals. This one is a long one, stick with it. It is so educational, especially if you are wanting to create your own work. The reason I'm jumping on at the beginning is for a little trigger warning. Partway through this chat, we do discuss scenes of a sexual nature, sexual abuse and rape, so please watch with caution. All right, guys, enjoy. Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Petch and Pals. I've still not been cancelled, so I'm classing that as a massive win. This week, Ross Grant, our chief in commander, is in America and he's left me in charge, the foolish, foolish man. Don't worry, Ross, I will not ruin your your company. At least I will try not to anyway. But it's whilst he's away, the cat will play, and I decided, you know what, it's about time. I had another Petch and Pals and brought on 3 more premium Act on This guests. So here we have the lovely Andrea Watson, the magnificent Yorgo, is it Glinatis?
Yes, exactly. Well done.
Boom. And the ever so beautiful Tina Zuko.
Yes, that's it.
I mean, I'm just nailing the names today. Wow, I'm so proud. Yes, we have a diverse and eclectic mix of guests. I'm trying all the time to bring diversity into these calls. So please don't cancel me, please. But yeah, with that, let's get started. Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
Great. Amazing. So happy to be here.
Brilliant. So, as you all know from watching Petch and Pals of how the format goes, you've all seen Petch and Pals, yes?
Yes.
So,
I don't believe some of you.
And
I really don't.
And this is where it all goes wrong. It's like, wait, what are we doing today again?
Exactly. Do you know what?
What?
I bring these guests on hoping that they've seen my stuff and they haven't, but it's fine. It's fine. Even if I'm just talking to myself, I'm having a good time. So what we do is we start off, we introduce yourselves a little bit to the community. Don't forget, this is on YouTube, but it's also going out as a podcast as well. So people will just hear your wonderful voices. Your voice is super eclectic of all the different nationalities. It's amazing. So please tell us a little bit about yourself. And I always ask how you found Act on This. I'm always interested in on how people came to the community. So if we go Andrea, Yorgo, Tina in that order.
Okay. I'm Andrea. I'm a actress, a writer now, and now a producer as well because I've got my own production company. Woo! I did acting when I was in my 20s briefly, and then had a long gap and came back to it in my 40s. And I found Act on This around 2019 when Ross kept flashing up on my Facebook. I could see this silent guy chatting away.
So that's not Ross just flashing, by the way. He doesn't go around and do that.
He just used to come round to the house, flash me, said, join the community. I used to see his face flash up, and some of my actor friends were liking it and sharing it. And so, who is this guy? So I unmuted the video and
regretted it ever since.
And he was brilliant. And that day I was enthralled and couldn't watch the whole thing. It must have been one of the Monday night talks, and a couple of months after that I came to the first meeting when you did them in Manchester. Not the first meeting you did in Manchester, my first meeting that I came
and that was in 2019.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it's been longer than that. So just for the
18, yeah.
Just for the members or the people listening who don't know, every Monday night when he's around, because he's in America at the moment, he's had to miss this one. Ross does a Facebook Live, and that is absolutely free. It goes out on Facebook, it goes out on Twitter. It used to go out on Periscope. I'm not too sure if he still does that anymore, but that's just a chance for anybody. You don't have to be a premium member like my guests are here. Anybody can just come on and listen to what Ross says. It's usually recaps on the previous guests that we've just had on, but Ross is just a wonder at mindset, and he knows so much about the industry. He's been in it for so long. He just spouts off all this wisdom. So if you've not checked him out, please do come along and just tune in for one of them. You'll be hooked, like Andrea was.
Yeah. He's so positive, totally inspiring.
He really is.
Yeah, and there was a lot, because I was so new to it, that he was teaching you on those Monday nights. You're like, God, I didn't realise that. Yeah.
It's so interesting that you bring that up, Andrea. On Twitter recently, I've seen a lot of people complain that actors have to spend a lot of money in their career, and we do. We've got headshots, we've got showreels, we've got equity, we've got Spotlight, Mandy, Star Now, and that's before you even get started. And then there's the acting classes, and people were complaining about like workshops and things like that that casting directors charge to do that. And Ross quite rightly put out that, yes, some of these things are quite extortionate, which is why we only charge £24 a month. That's £6 a week. That's a large latte at Starbucks or Costa or anything like that. It's hardly anything. But again, people still complain that, we're charging for that. And it's like, yeah, but also we, as Act on This, put out more free content than anybody out there who just specializes in free content. Our YouTube channel, Petch Pals, the audio experience, the Monday night calls, all the micro content that I cut from the actual webinars and things like that. We're constantly pumping out free content. So, there's no reason why you can't learn from Act on This, just from the free stuff that we're pumping out there as well.
Oh, absolutely. I was telling people to go to it if they're starting out, going, what's the first thing I should do? Go and watch Ross on the Monday night.
Exactly.
It was actually the free stuff that got me hooked, but I'll talk about that later. But
brilliant. Yeah. Well, let's go to Yorgo, and then we'll jump to Tina. Yorgo, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so my name is Yorgo Glinatsis, and so I live in London, but I was born in Belgium, and my dad is Greek and my mom, she's Italian, so I'm quite a mix, and my mother tongue is French, so maybe you can hear it or not. Let's see, now I have an original accent. I'm going to say that twice.
You win in a million, Yorgo.
Fuck this. I am me. And so, I joined Act on This. I think, if I remember correctly, it was a bit before the pandemic started. I've seen Ross and you, Patch, like on Twitter and Facebook, and I was like, I need to subscribe. But life, how is it? Like, it's like postponing. Then the pandemic arrived, and you're like, I have no more excuses because I have the time now.
Yes.
And I was like, not struggling, but trying to find myself as an actor. And I was like, how can I be seen? And then I was like, okay, let me join and this community and just, take everything I can and learn from that. And so I joined, I think it's just a bit before the pandemic. And the knowledges and obviously the contacts and the support, the family, like, look, that's why we are here, is because we all join this community. So we are a big family, and it's really very, for me, fulfilling to see other people's success and learn from them.
Yes.
That's my tip for actors. Learn from the successful people and listen only to those who are succeeding, even if it's like getting one short film or whatever it is, but don't listen to people who are going to be negative and going to this spiral of negativity. It's a tough industry, but there is so much joy and passion and love, and I think I had to switch my mindset and focus on what I'm doing this job. So my background, I am an actor. Back in the days in Belgium, I perform and study theater. But when I came in London, I've realized that actually I prefer screen acting.
Nice.
And I used to dance too a lot. So I used to be a professional dancer, and the dance took a bit the lead in the beginning of my career in London. And then I had, like Andrea, a bit of break because I was like, I don't get seen for films and stuff. So I was like, getting to this spiral. But then I think 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I was like, no, actually, I came in London to be an international actor. So let me now invest in it and go through everything I have to go through, but I will do this. And now I've become a filmmaker too. So the pandemic and Ross and all the guests they was telling like, do your own work. If you don't get a role, just create this role for you. And this really hit me. And I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. Literally, I have nothing to lose. So let me try and see how it's going to work. And I just did my first LGBTQI plus short film called Trigger. And we had the private premiere 2 or 3 weeks ago, and more than 100 people came. So I was like,
amazing.
woo, okay. I was like, this is the beginning of a success, and I have to get used to that.
Yeah.
And then now I'm submitting the film to British and international festivals. And then I will talk what's the next step after this. But yes.
Yorgo's kind of jumping the gun there. I was going to explain why we're doing this particular Petch Pals, but I might as well just jump in now. It is all about creating your own work. Every guest that I brought on that you can see on the screen or that you can hear on the audio experience have gone out there and created their own work, and we will dive into that in just a second. Something I wanted to pick up though there, Yorgo, you called it a family, and it really is. I mean, Act on This is a community anyway. It was set up so that people can learn the business side of the acting industry. I mean, everyone goes to class and learns how to act and learns the craft, but not many people, if any, are teaching the business side of acting, and it's called show business for a reason, because you are a business. But what grew from that was this network of like-minded, supported actors who were just there for each other. Now, you can be as involved in that as you want. You can be as a part of the community, which is, it's a wonderful place to be. But the more involved you get, it does become more like a family. We are all here just to help and support and just love and nurture each other. So yeah, I think that's really amazing what you said there.
And learning from each other.
And learning from each other.
Building our own career, and we can see like, if let's say Andrea is doing a feature film, and I was like, so if she's doing it, it means I can do it too.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Tina, tell us a bit about yourself and how you found Act on This.
So, well, my name's Tina. Actually, full name, Tina Zucca is actually my stage name. But the full name is much more Italian than that, and it's Martina Zucconelli. But
yes, do that again, please. Martina Zucconelli.
Yeah, Martina Zucconelli.
Love it.
Ooh,
but yeah, a lot of people get a bit scared when they see the RT sound that's like RT. And so I was like, let's just make this simple for the people I work with.
Sorry, I'm gonna keep doing that all the time. Okay, cool, got it.
Yeah, so I just cut it. And I took the end of my first name and the beginning of my last name, and I was like, Tina Zucca, this is it. Much more simple. But yeah, so I'm in London, same as Yorgo. I don't know where Andrea is based.
In York.
Oh, wow. I went to uni in York. Yeah, my sister lives there, so I'm always there. But anyway, I've been acting professionally for 10 months. So I've always knew I wanted to do it. But the moment I took the plunge and left my office job and went into, okay, this is the time to do it. It's been 9 months actually now. So I'm very new at this, which is why I'm so grateful for Act on This, because it's the school, every time I look at a webinar, I'm taking notes, I'm okay, yeah, this is good. This helps me. And how I found it was actually through the free content that you, Petch, were talking about earlier. There was, once you put out a 5-day challenge accelerator career or something.
Yeah,
that
the 5-day accelerator.
Yeah, that was headshot, showreel, something with Peter Hunt and something else as well, mindset as well. And it's that
memorable, she's forgotten it.
Well, because that was a year and a half ago, I think, maybe even longer ago. But yeah, so it was a friend of mine who went to do drama school in Glasgow. And he was like, my teacher has been recommending me about this Act on This thing. And I haven't looked into it yet, but I've seen to do this free stuff. So if you're interested, we can do it together. And so it was this 5-day challenge that me and my friend were doing together. And we're like, let's compare headshots and let's compare showreels. And he hooked, That's what hooked me, because every one of the 5 things, and there was one about mindset, and I think mindset is a big one for me.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm at the beginning, and I'm not patient at all as a person. So the second I was like left my office job, I was expecting like a Netflix show to land on my lap, and that didn't happen. So I need to like be reminded that it's a marathon, not a sprint, like you guys always say.
Yeah.
And so it was the free content, and that's why I love Action This. And all you were saying, that there's always this micro little content you put from the webinars, and even like who to follow on Instagram and Twitter. I'm a massive like coward when it comes to investing, or at least I was, like not anymore, but I always need to see that our community gives me something before I can invest in them. And getting that 5-day challenge thing, and then following you on Instagram and seeing all the micro content and following the right people and everything, I was like, okay, you know what, these guys have helped me already, so now I can be part of the community. And so when I was finally ready to like, and I shifted my mindset to it's time to invest, the first thing I did was to get Act on This. And now like I recommend it to everyone.
Excellent.
When I do like student short films, I'm like, and people are like, oh, it's so tough, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, do you know Act on This?
Please tell me that you're giving out your affiliate link.
I am. Yeah. It's not worked yet, but it's the whole thing where you need to remind things. You need to remind people at least like 4 or 7 times before they get. So
that's again one of the reasons why I keep releasing all the micro content time and time again. Sometimes people need to hear things 7 times before they take action on it, and it's like, okay, I've heard it enough now. Maybe it needs to be said in a different way. Maybe somebody else needs to tell them. But once they hear it about 7 times, they're like, okay.
They need to be ready to, I think, because to be like, actually, okay, now I'm ready to be there and be in the moment and take all the knowledges and, networking and tips. I think, there is a time for everything. And
It's really interesting. Sorry, Tina, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, you're totally right. There's some things that people told me like 2 years ago, and then told me again yesterday. But yesterday I finally heard them and understood them, because I was ready to hear these things. So it is about finding the right time also to invest in this.
I was going to say, it's really interesting what you were saying there about investing as well. Remember, you're not investing in us, you're investing in yourself. Because you are a business. And this is a lesson that I learned from Ross, and he shoved me in the deep end. This is how I became to work for Act on This. I had moved to Manchester, didn't know anyone. And I just finished a tour, a TIE tour, which is TIE for those who don't know, is theatre in education. And I was looking for something to subsidize the 9 to 5 that I was already doing, because I wasn't earning a lot really to do anything. And I met Ross at a Costa Coffee. I mean, where else would we meet but a Costa Coffee? And he asked me if I wanted to do, this is back in the day when the website used to do everything. And we used to release news articles about what was going to be released, and, just a place where people could find basically anything they could find on the net anyway, but we kind of collated it for them. And it's like, I will pay you £5 for every news article that you do. I was like, okay, like it's not much, but it's something, it's extra money in my pocket. And he started showing me how to do it all, but it was on a Mac. I was like, I don't have a Mac. Everything's on Windows for me. He's like, you need a Mac. I'm like, yeah, but I can't afford a Mac. And he made me get a credit card and buy a Mac on my credit card, like there and then, like £1,200 for a refurbished Mac. And I was like, that's what I've ever been in debt. What are you doing to me? It's going to take me like how many news articles to pay this off? I'm struggling as it is. And it's like, trust me, you're investing in yourself. And from that investment, I learned how to do these news articles. I then learned how to do Photoshop. I learned how to edit. And now everything I do that makes me money is from a Mac, just by investing in myself. So guys, take the plunge and invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, you're taking that money. It is the equivalent of taking that money and going to the bookmakers and putting it down and going, I bet on myself to lose. There's the money. I bet on myself to lose.
What's that English saying? You only get what you put in.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There we go.
In fact, I want to add about like investing is, I think what's like a lot of actors, or let's say creative people, they think like, but I need the money now. I mean, the payback now. But I think the mindset to have is like, it's a long-term investment.
Yeah.
So this investment I'm doing right now will not maybe come back in tomorrow or in 1 week, but for a long term, it will come back to me. Maybe not with money, because sometimes we always think like, oh, the money will come back to me. Maybe it's not the money, but it's like a project, a door will open for us that, oh, we're going to meet someone because we invest in it. We're like, oh, this looks good. I want to work with you.
Yeah,
So
100%.
It's long term.
It is. And if you're not going to invest in yourself, how do you expect anyone else to invest in you?
100%.
I understood that too. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, because I was one, that actors do get hung up on money. It's like we were saying before, we have to invest a lot before we even get seen as an actor. And money, I don't want to say it's hard to come by, because it's not if you know where to go. But somebody, and I just mean Joe Blogs, general public, will lose £5 on the street, or let's say somebody takes £5 off them. They will spend a good 5 hours trying to get that £5 back off the person that's robbed it off them. Whereas they could spend that 5 hours doing something more productive that would make them £20.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know, don't see lost money as lost money. It's fluid. It will come back to you, but focus your energy on something else. Focus it on what will make you more money than the £5 you just lost.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good way of seeing it.
Yeah.
So there we go. I mean, it's inspirational already, dropping knowledge bombs all over the place. So as I said, and as Jurgo went into at the beginning of this episode of Petch Pals, this is all about creating your own work as actors. It is so hard to even just be conceived that a writer somewhere is going to write a part with you, like that you fit perfectly, that is going to go on TV. I mean, it's nuts when you think of it like that. There's so many actors in the UK alone, let alone the world. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So chances are, for at least when you're starting out, a lot of your career, you're going to be unemployed or a jobbing actor or a working actor. And that means working the 9 to 5s and doing all that. And that's where I see actors start to deteriorate. They're like, I'm never going to make it. I should be in this, I should be in that. If you think you should be in this and that, then create it yourself.
Yeah.
What better way?
You can be this character.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is that what jobbing actor means? Someone that has a job and still acts on the side?
So a jobbing actor is somebody who just jobs as like they go from one job to another, to another, to another, to another. So it could be like the day players in the soap operas. Right. You know, you see them constantly. But in between that, they're doing, I don't know, they're presenting an award show for the local working men's club down the road, or they're doing a children's birthday party.
Yeah.
Like a jobbing actor in that sense is they're earning the money from acting, but it's not necessarily things that they want to do. Yeah. So me, for example, at one point I was doing theatre and education. When schools weren't in, I was into old people's homes, entertaining them, doing a two-hander. When they weren't in and schools weren't in, I was doing Elf at like grottos. I was doing Spider-Man at children's parties. I was playing Manuel in a comedy dining. Do you know what I mean? I was making my money, but like, I didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what a jobbing actor is. But like just your everyday actor, they're working at a bar, they're working as a waitress, they're working in retail, they're as a receptionist, and they're complaining that they're not getting the parts that they want. So I'm here to say, like, let's stop complaining. Let's create our own work. Yeah. For me, when I moved to Manchester, as I said earlier, I didn't know anywhere. I came from Bradford, and I was quite well known in the amateur theatre department. Like, people knew who I was getting cast in like amateur shows all the time, pantomimes, plays. I'm moving to Manchester. I didn't have that network anymore. So I was finding it really hard to get in the room for any kind of thing. And I was like, right, I'm going to create my own show. And I did. I put it on How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse, which won the best writing at the Greater Manchester Fringe. And from there, I put on another show. But it's hard work, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
It is hard work. So the reason I've got my guests on is because I can talk about it. I know how hard it is. But from Tina, who's been in the industry 9 months, to Andrea, who's been in it since she was 20, like we've got a wealth of knowledge between us. So let's talk about your projects, how you got started, and let's give the people loads of inspiration as to how they can go out and create their own work. So Andrea, I'll just do a quick brief. Andrea is in the process of doing a feature film now. It did start out as a short. Things have changed.
Yeah.
The working title was TikTok, but obviously due to a certain platform out there, I think you decided to rename that.
Yeah.
Tina is doing something completely different. She's doing a one-woman show at Brighton. And Andrea, sorry, Yorgo. It's because I'm looking at Andrea. Yorgo.
Andrea.
I wish I could put this in edit. I can't. Yorgo has just released his short film, Trigger Point, which he talked about earlier. So let's go around. Whoever wants to go first, tell us about your project and the lessons that you've learned.
Okay.
Andrea, it is.
I discovered that I could write.
Yay.
I just love, ever since I was a little girl, I used to love playing on the typewriter and creating stories. I used to get cartoons, the actual comics, and turn them into stories on typewriters. So it was in me from being young. And then I went to acting.
You're aging yourself there a bit, Andrea, with a typewriter.
Yeah.
For those who don't know what a typewriter is, joking, Google it.
Oh, it's so much joy out of a typewriter, those clicks. Yeah, that's the certain generation. So when I went to acting classes, when I decided to go back into acting when I was about 39 and we were asked to write monologues, I started writing my own, and I had to prove to another actor that they weren't off the TV. So he didn't believe me, thought it was something out of Love Actually. I'm going, no, it's mine.
Amazing.
And then he convinced me, he was an English teacher, and he said, I think you should write us some scenes for showreel. So before we knew about Act on This and all of the things that you do. So we invested together to make our very first little short film that was really just a showreel scene for the three of us. So nice. I wrote that, and then I wrote another one. And then I started seeing competitions. So Act for TV did a competition where they asked... For
those who don't know, Act for TV is an acting working class. It's an acting working class? It's an acting class for actors. It's based in Manchester, Leeds and Liverpool, I do believe.
Yeah. So I saw a competition and I didn't know what it was. And they were asking for scenes. I went, I can do that. I've been doing them. So I submitted 4 and got 3 selected to be made into films.
What about the last one, Andrea? I mean,
the last one I did. So that was
No. I mean, out of the 4, like, what happened to the other one?
Oh, I know exactly. That's what I was saying. Why didn't you take that one? And then, they redid the competition last year, and I got 5 selected, and then I did another 2 for the children.
You must write so fast.
Yeah, I do. It's just I just download.
See, that's something I don't have yet.
It's just where I live on my own. I'm very much a hermit, and I live in my imagination. I always have, and I just go, all right, I need to get this down. I wrote 9 short films in one day for TV, and that was when 5 of them got selected.
Anybody listening to this, that's not normal. Don't worry if you can't write 9 short films in a day.
Normal.
Don't panic. You're not doing anything wrong. It's fine.
Who knows? I did during the pandemic. One of our community reposted that there was these ghost stories, how to write ghost stories, and I went, I love ghost stories. I'll join that. And they were the guy's absolutely phenomenal who teaches how to write. And he got us to look at, basically you're not allowed to self-edit. So he gives 10 minutes, write. You edit it later because you get your idea out first. And he showed us a picture of a forest. And where it's meant to be a ghost story, it really didn't matter because it's your own creativity that you're writing.
Yeah.
I got this idea of a crime thriller and the ending being in a forest. And I thought, well, actually, everyone will think that's the ending, but I'm going to put that at the beginning.
Nice.
So you think that it's the conclusion, and then it goes, something happens, which is a major twist that, oh. So I went, oh, I'd love to be in that. So I wrote it as a scene for myself. And I sent it to a guy to do as a showreel scene. He went, this is too long for a showreel scene. He said, do you want to do it as a short film? And I went, I'd love to do it as a short film.
How long was it at that point?
9 minutes.
Right, okay.
So that's what it ended up being. And then he said, actually, he says, this is too good. Once I'd written it to extend it, he went, this is too good. He says, why don't you think about, because we want to know what happens next, because I just left it at the twist.
Yeah.
And he went, I want to know what happens next, and I think everyone else would. So would you consider doing it as a web series?
Wow.
And I went, yes. And he went, and we'll do this as a proof of concept. And he taught me through the project of what we would do. And
just for people who, again, I'm curious that people that are listening and they may just be brand new to the industry. What does proof of concept mean?
I'm so sorry.
It means that you do a flavour of what
I'm not sitting on the floor.
You do a
for those who don't know, sorry, Tina's boyfriend's just walked in behind her. For those on the audio experience, don't worry, it's absolutely fine. Sorry, carry on, Andrea.
It's to show the investors what a flavour of what your project is going to be. They're not going to invest in you unless they can see and experience what the project's going to be. Cool. So we decided to do that, and I naively thought I would like Russell Tovey in mine.
I mean, think big.
I was thinking absolutely big. He's on my. I've got a. I'll show you it in a bit. I've got it in a book as well. I've got a list of actors I want to work with.
I better be on there, Andrea.
Yeah, I want to be on there, please.
I'm going to put you on. And I got in touch with Emma Crompton, and she said, for this stage, for your first...
Emma Crompton is a casting director.
Sorry, yeah, I had a one-to-one with Emma Crompton, and she was amazing. And she gave me advice. I was going, how do I get Russell Tovey? And she told me what his fee is, and I went, right, well, I'm going to aim to be Russell Tovey, so I get paid that. And she said, why don't you instead look for somebody who's about to break out, someone who's about to be famous, put them in, and then you know that you've given somebody a break. So I really did, and it took me weeks, and I went through I had a vision in my head of who I wanted, and I went through so many websites of actors, and I found it really strange to ask people to audition for me, because I was thinking, who the hell am I to ask actors to audition for me?
Imposter syndrome.
Exactly. Oh my God, the imposter syndrome was going so big. And I found this Scottish guy who was exactly how I'd imagined him. And I really wanted him, but the director I had at the time didn't have the same vision that I had. He wanted someone with more credits. So we found someone who was brilliant, and we cast them. And there was this gut feeling inside that I should have cast this Scottish guy, John Love. I'll put his name out.
Shout out John Love.
Shout out John Love. It was so strong. And although the guy that we cast was brilliant, and I was really, really pleased we got him, I thought I have to have him in. So I wrote him, I gave away some of my own lines to create another character.
Wow.
Okay.
And the other guy that we'd cast actually ended up going into Coronation Street. So I was right in the fact that I was choosing the right actors. And we had to cast somebody else in that part. But in casting
Always
John,
trust your gut. Always trust your gut.
He became, once he came in and we did the proof of concept, and I saw him and we were interacting together, this whole storyline just sort of came into my head and it completely changed. And where he came in as a small 5-line, he became the dual lead with me.
Boom.
And I wrote the first draft and I sent it to him, and his notes that came back were so good. And my writing is mine. I don't share it. And I said, do you want to co-write? And he went, no, I just want to be an actor. I just want to be an actor. I went, okay. And then I asked him again, do you want to co-write? Because he came up with the opening, and I went, that's so good. So we've ended up co-writing. The director that we originally had, sort of schedules and everything changed, so we couldn't have him anymore. And I got with a production company in Huddersfield called Isaac Who. Big shout out to them. And they've agreed to take it on. I am hiring them. Wow. So to do that, I had to become...
Let's jump a little bit, because we were talking about these actors with credits and things like that. And when people are starting out, they're like, who am I to ask so-and-so to be in my thing? Like, who am I? Who am I? But you did it. You got a really good actress in your film.
Yes, I did.
Tell us.
Well, because we wanted to, when you're thinking about doing a feature film and you're thinking about the investors in the long term, you're going to have a name. So that I recently did a workshop with Ian Paulson Davies, and he was talking about, because he's an actor that was in Coronation Street and loads and loads of other things as well, and he's now a director as well. And he was saying that with his feature film, they have to have somebody that the investors know, trust, that will put their money in.
That'll put the bums on seats.
That'll put the bums on seats. But Kelly Hollis was a friend of the original director. So she came in for our proof of concept.
For those who don't know who Kelly Hollis is, you will do. She's in Shameless. She's in Emmerdale. She's in Ackley Bridge. She's all over the place. She's such a fantastic actress with a wealth of credits under her, so experienced, and a joy for any actor to work alongside and any director to direct. Like, you got her in your film.
Well, we got her in the proof of concept. But we're redoing because we've changed to a different production team now. I mean, that cost me, just to give it, that proof of concept cost me £2,500 to put together. It was one day shoot.
Right.
But I stood there July day and looked at the sound man, the cameraman, the makeup artist, and the actors that were there. And I just had this sense of, I've given all those people employment.
Yeah.
And it just felt so exciting to feel that everybody, it was really scary. The imposter syndrome was going, woo, woo.
But you did that.
Yeah,
I did that, and I'm so proud of it. And the fact that, I mean, from there to where it is, because it's now, that was July that we did that proof of concept, and we're going to be doing our new proof of concept probably around September, October, which is going to have more actors in it. And it's the storyline has grown into something that I am so immensely proud of.
And this all started from a workshop with a writer giving you a picture of a forest.
Of the woods. Yeah, that's exactly it. And I give you shout out all the time. Yeah.
So at that point, were you conscious of writing yourself into a script? Like, was it something that, have you felt like you're not being seen for the right roles and this is something that you wanted to do? Or was it just out of the blue and serendipity?
There's this, ever since I was in my 20s, there's been this myth around that women, when they approach 40s, there's no good parts for them. They suddenly become the mothers and they suddenly...
That's a lie.
It is a lie. It is a lie. But sometimes it's in the mindset as well.
Yep.
And I am so passionate to bring women over 40 into scripts and stories that are where they are sexy and they have a story to tell. So all of my stories are going to have that. So I'm playing the lead. I'm playing a DI. And the women that I've got in there, so I've got a female crime scene manager.
Excellent.
And my boss is female as well. But we've got lots of men as well. It's very, very diverse. But
this is it. Like, you can sit behind your keyboard on Twitter and complain that the industry isn't giving these people enough, or you can create your own work and give those people enough things to be the change that you want to be in the industry.
It's the exact thing. Yeah, there was something just on Twitter a couple of months ago about the fact that women don't want to just be the mothers in the background and the caretakers. Why should they? Why should they? Because in life, look at where women are now, and it should reflect. So yeah, I'm really, really passionate about that. So
That's amazing,
it was
Andrea.
to put myself in there to so that I had these lead roles, because like I said earlier, if you don't invest in yourself,
exactly,
and I know what you can do. So they might not see, they might see me because I do come across very smiley and caring and to play a hard-nosed detective. Well, actually, she's going to be a very compassionate, caring detective. So it's putting elements of myself in there.
Well, I saw the trailer for that when it was first out, that first proof of concept, and it was very, very good.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, as you're watching this and listening to this, it's no longer online, because I did try searching for it before the call so I could shout it out. But as you say, there is going to be another one, so please keep an eye out on Andrea's socials.
I want to see it.
And you know, if you're an actor and you're wanting a job, especially if you're a woman, get in touch with Andrea. She'll put you in the film.
You can just write parts, you know.
Write parts for everyone. I mean, she can write 9 short films in a day. She can write you into a film. No pressure, Andrea. You're going to get loads of emails after this.
Well, we're going to have to do a short film before we do the feature film now, because we need to be seen as having chemistry together. So even before the proof of concept, we're having a meeting tomorrow.
Right.
We're gonna make a short film to go into the festivals. It's going to be a horror, I think. Something where we're almost the same but different, so that there's going to be more work. Yeah.
Speaking of short films, that ties us on to our next guest.
So
See what I did there?
Petch.
It's brilliant. Yorgo, you've just
really nice, like the smooth and going. Yeah,
See,
well done.
I've done this before. I've been watching Ross, and I know how to do it. No, I'm terrible. I'm getting better, I hope. But Yorgo, seriously, like, you've just released a short film. It can't be seen anywhere at the moment because it's doing the rounds in festivals and things like that. And there's a stipulation that if it's online, you can't enter into a festival. So you can talk all about that in just a second. But your short film, Trigger Point. I mean, Trigger, not Trigger Point. Yeah. Trigger Point was something that Chris Hitchens
there
was
is a theory called Trigger Point. And I'm like, no, it's not the thing.
But this was based on true events. So whereas Andrea's was just a picture that inspired her to write this was it true events of your life? Or tell us all about it.
Exactly. So I think what happened, it was during the pandemic. Obviously, like everyone else, I had lots of time to watch a lot of series and films, and I've been watching I May Destroy You from Michael Cole. And Brilliant. It's a scene, but it's literally I May Destroy You. That's one particular scene just triggered me because it actually happened to me. Mm-hmm. And then this memory just came back in front of me, and I was like, right, okay, this is what happened, and this is not normal. I pushed it back for so many years. And then with all the emotion and stuff, I was like, what do I do now? Because now it's here, I remember. And so I've started therapy because I had to heal. But then I was like, I need to speak up because I've realized that it happened to me, but I am not the only one. Right. And in the LGBTQA community, we don't really talk about this. So the main concept is about sexual consent. And we always relate to, like rape equal violence, and but there is so many different ways that a sexual assault can happen. And at that time, I didn't know that was actually a sexual assault that happened to me. It's literally the nurse, when I went to the sexual clinic, that told me that I can report the guy to the police, but my brain was like, no, I'm not a victim. I'm not going to be called a victim, because there is this, stigma with the word victim in this society. Mm-hmm. And especially as a man, as a gay man, I was like, no, I'm not going to go through that. So I say thank you, but no. But yeah, during the pandemic, I had lots of time with myself, like everyone else. And I was like, I need to do something with that. So a bit like Andrea, so that for me, there were 2 triggers. Like, obviously, I May Destroy You. This memory came back to me. And then the fact that I was like, I'm not getting seen. And my agent, shipped out to my agent, AC Actors, she's wonderful. And she's not stereotyping me, but still, she's trying to fight and open doors for me. And I was like, but still, why is not happening? And then obviously I joined Act on This, and I've listened to a lot of podcasting, like do your own work. If you want a role, write it for you. So I was like, let me start like Andrea for my own showreels, see if I'm good writing. So I wrote few scenes and the roles I wanted, the day player roles, like let's use what Ross is saying, let's put it down. And then I shot them during the pandemic, between two lockdowns. And then people was like, oh my God, this is really good. And I was like, oh, and my agent was like, yeah, this is really good. This is like, it looks like it's coming from a movie or a series. I was like, really? Maybe I am good writing. But I had this imposter syndrome because English is not my first language. So I was like, but how I'm going to do it? I'm going to make mistakes. But then lots of my friends or people in the community say like, yeah, but you have lots of friends that are English, so they can correct. You can write it and then they can, rephrase it in a more English ways. And I was like, yeah, right. Okay, that was just an excuse for me to not doing it. Right. I know people. And actually they told me it's like, I'm writing quite good. It's just like rephrasing to make it more English, you know? So I was like, let me do that. And then I joined, I think, it's a workshop called workshop class, and anyone can write. Actually, he became my mentor. So the guy is called Taz Skyler. So he's an actor and a filmmaker. And I've been mentoring by him and Emma Crumpton, like you, Andrea.
Emma's popping up all over the place.
Oh yeah, Emma, she's my lover. So it was like, do your first short film. Like, it was like, maybe do just like a coming out story. Very simple. You can do on the phone, one shot, and you just like speak to your parent. We don't hear them, so it's only you. Very simple, low budget, you can do it. And I was like, okay. So the first draft actually was like coming out to my parents, because I came out very lately to my parents, literally 3 years ago before turning 30. So it was a long process for me to accept who I am and to say to my parents. But then when I was writing it, I was watching I May Destroy You. See, this memory came back. So I was like, oh, maybe I can use this memory to create a journey, to come out to my parents. I can speak like this happened, and this happened, and I couldn't talk to my parents. But then I was like, maybe it should be the main topic. And then I say to my mentor, Thais, by the way, my mentor is now shooting for Netflix. Do you know the Japanese manga One Piece?
Yes. Yeah.
They are shooting, and he's one of the main actors. So I was like,
boom.
My mentor is a star. But it proved that, like you can start somewhere and then become like, the next day you can be, cast for big stuff.
This industry can change your life overnight like that.
Overnight. I mean, I have another friend that is in Emily in Paris. Literally is the black actor playing the gay fashionista and stuff. And I know.
So anybody listening to this, if you want to be a famous actor, become friends with Yogo overnight.
Yeah, actually, all my friends famous. I'm like, I am the next one. So yeah, this is the tip. What I learned to like between brackets. For me, when I came in UK, this dream / project goal was very far for me. So I was like, those famous actors, like how they did it. But now all my close friends, they're like literally landing roles and stuff. And me too, at my own time and, my own level and whatever. And I was like, oh, I mean, I know people getting for Netflix, Amazon, BBC and stuff. So I know the journey. I'm actually doing the same than them. So it's like, it's close. So it's a sign when your friends, your close circles, getting success, whatever it is for the success, it's a sign that you are close. So don't give up. That's
exactly, yeah. You are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with.
Yes, exactly. So okay, bracket downstairs. And so it was like, I explained it, this traumatic event happened to me. And it was like, Yogo, I think if you're ready to be fully vulnerable, this is the story that is gonna put you on a radar, not only for, you know, being famous, but a lot of people gonna relate to you. And I think the society is more now ready to be open-minded, to listen and to talk about, you know, sexual consent. And the LGBTQ community, we have more and more representation, which is great. Still a lot to do, but it's better. And I was like, okay, let me do that. I think this is going to be therapeutic for me. So I use my passion of telling stories to create this story. Then I asked Emma Crobdon. So I think I sent the second or the third draft. So actually I read everything. She was like, let me listen, let me not read, just read it, act a bit, and she was like, okay, what do you want to do with this? I was like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I mean, a short film. I was like, I don't think this is a format for a short film. It's like, I never read this. And especially for LGBTQ community, this story is not on screen yet, but it's happening because she's part of the community and she has a lot of friends that are gay men. And she was like, what you went through, I know a lot of my friends that went through. And I was like, wow. And she told me I have a gold script.
Nice.
So it's a little validation, you know, it's great to hear that. And I was like, okay, I think I have something and I'm going to go really for it. So I'm going to summarize. It took 1.5 years, 14
So not one
months.
day.
Yeah, not a day like
Not
Andrew.
one day. Yeah.
You're slow, Yoga, you're slow.
Apparently, like some people take 4 or 5 years to make a short film. So for me, 1.5 years, I was like, oh my God, that was long. But actually, it's not.
No,
and then, so yeah, I shot it in January 2022, literally like 3-4 months ago. So now it's edited and it's ready. And so we are submitting now to the British and International Film Festival. So let's see how it's gonna be. So I want just to add, so why I did it too is because I was not seeing myself on screen. And diversity, which is great, there is more diversity, but it's always about like colors or race, but it's about accents too.
Yeah.
But I've been very stereotyped, and there is one scene in my short film that I put this little note here, like, or typecasted, you know, because I speak French, but I don't look like the stereotype of a French man.
Yeah.
So I always struggle a bit with like, where do I fit? But now I've realized, you know what? I don't have to fit to one box. I fit in a lot of boxes. So take it.
Exactly.
Deal with it. And I say, I'm going to create my own stuff and they're going to see. And then if someone wants to work with me, great. If not, I know my worth. So I think what is very important to as an actor is to know your worth. It's not because you're not on TV right now that you are not a good actor.
I love Yoga.
That's why I learned to.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yoga, I want to apologize straight away. I just shot a scene with Chris Stone where I play a stereotypical Frenchman. Seriously, with the white and black striped t-shirt.
Did you also have a baguette?
Fine.
I had the red bandana, I had the beret, I had the baguette, I had the cheese.
But is it a comedy or a drama?
It's a comedy, and I speak French really wrong.
Comedy is like we can have a laugh about stereotypes.
I do feel I'm going to get banned from France as soon as this gets released. I apologize. But no, that's really, really fantastic what you were saying there, Yoga. Like, there's lots of questions I want to ask about the filmmaking process, and you know we'll get to that in just a second once we've spoken to Tina about her project. The thing I wanted to ask you though was, this is such a personal journey for you. Like, this is based on true events that have happened to you, and you've written it. Was there ever a point where you decided actually, I don't think I can play that character because it's too real.
Yeah.
Or was
so
that
a lot of
never
people-
was?
That's a good question, because we did a private screening 2-3 weeks ago. Because for the people who don't know, when you submit your film to festivals, you can't have a paid public screenings or put your film online, because they want to have the exclusivity of your film.
Mhm.
So, but I wanted to see my film on a screen, and I wanted to have the feedbacks and the opinions of people, regardless how we're going to do with festivals. I had to have this. And I said to myself before, it was on my to-do list, I want to be on the screen, in a cinema screen.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to do it yourself. So I was like, I did it. I invested. I paid for 1 hour in a real cinema in Dalston, but I've seen myself on a big screen. So
Nice.
checklist done.
Done.
But then the people asked me like how I did that, like, because I play the character.
Yeah.
So I am the co-writer, co-director, and lead actor. So I prefer to say filmmaker. So it's so what happened is I hired a co-director, and she became my co-writer too. So she helped me to change the script, and which is very important, as you say before, Patch, is to listen. And Andrea, you said to listen to your guts. With your writing, with choosing the actors, because obviously lots of friends came forward for this for my film, and I was honest. It was like, there is unfortunately no budget for crews and cast, because we did a crowdfunding, but we got only it's still good, £1,000. So our budget was 17K. With BFI application and crowdfunding, it became 1,000. So I almost gave up. Well, I'm going to be honest. I almost gave up when I was like, how I'm going to do this with £1,000? Because in my mind, I was like, I need my film and my story to be, I call it festival value, that people can be like, oh yes, this is the level that the festival can select my film. So I was like, how am I going to do this with £1,000? So I had to be honest with people and all the crews and cast. It's like, this is the budget we have. What I want is a quality short film that we can go to festival and we can have a chance to be selected. So I can give you at least exposure and networking, you know? And people join it because they say, obviously, it's a personal story. So they were touched by my story. And I was honest. So I think it's very important. If you have a low budget project, be honest with people. Don't lie to them. Like, don't say you don't have a budget when you have a budget, but you want to put the money on the production's values and stuff. Just be honest. And you're going to attract the right people to your projects. So all the casting crew came for the good reasons, to be part of this story and hopefully to create something beautiful and raise awareness and inspire other people. And as Andrea, I was like, while we were doing the casting, and this is great because I learned a lot with casting. Oh my goodness, this is so hard to be a casting director and a director. Because everyone was fucking sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry for my French.
And that's not French. I understood that one.
Yes, I love French. And they were so good. And I was like, now I understand why sometimes we don't get a role. It's not because of acting, actually. It's just because it's a personal choice from the director or taste or the chemistry between two actors. Or sometimes it was just a detail, a stupid detail. And my co-director was always looking to see the chemistry was better on screen, because we did like a Zoom recall. And because of the sex scene we were doing, I had to have the chemistry with my partner and I had to feel comfortable, you know? So we did a recall with 2 actors, and actually they proposed something different. Both of them were amazing, but I felt I was feeling more comfortable with the one we chose, called Tom Peters. But then the other actors, Reza, I was like, I need it in my film. So we created a character for him.
Brilliant.
I love that.
So
yeah.
You never know when you audition. That's true when people say some people can write a part for you. It happened. We wrote a small part for him, and actually he's doing very well now. Is in Apple TV called Terran, and then is actually
Just be your best friend.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was get drinks in London.
Yeah. But this is great. I mean, this is crazy. It's like, I think when you meet people with no agenda, it's like, I'm going to meet these people because it's famous or it can give me something, it doesn't work. But when you're like free and you connect with someone just because it's a nice person. And we did a film before together with Reza, and he was like, I really want to be part of your film. And I was like, oh, cool. So this is literally him coming to me like, I want to be part of your film. I was like, but I have no budget. You're doing very well. Like, he just shot the new feature film with Guy Ritchie and Jake Gyllenhaal. And I was like, I don't have the same budget and exposure. It's like, but this is this kind of story I want to be part of it. I was like, so guys, you never know, even if famous actor can accept to work on a low budget film because they will be touched by the story.
Yeah.
So you have nothing to lose to send an email to the agent, or if you have the email of the actor, just to try.
Yeah.
And and what was the question? I just forgot the question you asked me.
It's fine. You brought up 4 really brilliant points that I just want to really quickly touch on because Tina's been waiting so long, and we want to get to you as well.
Honestly, this helps me as well, so it's good to listen.
One, the first thing was no excuses. I love that. Philip Barantini did exactly the same thing with his short film, which is now a feature film called Boiling Point. If you've not seen it, it's on Netflix. Check it out. Brilliant. He just had the concept of an idea of a short film, didn't know how to write, got somebody else in to write it. Like, that excuse, not like destroyed. Same with you, Yorgo. You thought about the whole English thing. I can't write English, but you didn't let that stop you. Absolutely brilliant. 2, it's amazing what you can do with such a small budget. It's all right dreaming for the 17K, but when you don't get that, don't use that as an excuse not to do it. You find creative solutions to your problems as to how can we do that for less. And sometimes it works out even better.
Actually, this is so true. I think it worked much better. Of course, I don't know how a 17K short film would have been look like because it didn't happen, but I am proud to show it. And I think I want to say to you as a tip, be picky, guys, when you do a film. Trust your gut. If you feel that a scene is not right or the acting is not like, it's not there, be picky and be like, okay, let's do it. We can do it. Because now I am proud to show it literally to the world. I'm not like, I should have done that. I should have wrote that way. I'm like, no, actually, I am proud of it. Of course, with more money, I could have done much more. But sometimes we just have to be kind to yourself and be proud of ourselves and be like, you know what, well done. I did that with £1,000 and 25 people work with me from cast and crew.
Well, this brings me on to my third point is it's okay to work for free. People will tell you not to work for free as an actor. Know your worth. I mean, I agree with that. But if somebody has a real passion project and you relate to that project so much and you know you're going to get something out of it, work for free.
No,
you never know where that's going to take you.
And if the story catches your attention and really sparks something in you, you know, like the actor that came to you, sometimes that's enough to just want to be part of the story.
Exactly.
You know?
Lewis Arnold, a great director, a couple of years ago did a short film. And Lewis has worked on the biggest. He did Time recently, if you've seen that. He's done Humans. Oh, his list goes on and on and on.
He won a BAFTA, right? He won a BAFTA.
Yeah.
But before that, he was still working in the industry, but he had a project that he wanted to do. It was about a football game. And he couldn't pay anyone. This actor who's working big on TV, like he didn't have the funds himself to do this. Are you going to say no to Lewis Arnold, who has now won a BAFTA, who could have seen anybody in that short film and put them in his sequent like projects? You're going to say no because it's for free? No, you're not. I'm going to be like, yeah, look, I'm here, Lewis. I'll do it for free. But again, like, you don't do it for free. You know, there's always caveats to that. If it's like the BBC, like they can afford, then, you know, that's a bit different. But if it's a personal project and you relate to it and you like the person doing it, I'm all for that. And the last thing I wanted to touch on there, Yogo, is something that you said, is if you don't ask, you don't get. Same with what you were saying there, Andrea, like the worst somebody can say is no. But if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Yeah, there is 50% of chance that someone's going to say yes to you. It's yes or no. It's 50. 50, it's quite a lot. It's a big number.
It is.
You have a chance. So, yeah, and as Andrea, we're using now the short film as a proof of concept. So now we're submitting the film to festival. So hopefully we're going to be picked up so we can have exposure. And so now I'm pitching it as a limited series. So I had a little break because it was intense since a few months. Yeah. But I'm going to start writing now the limited series. So when we're going to be picked for festival, and hopefully we're going to have Q&As. So I can say, actually, I'm writing right now the limited series. So if maybe a productions company, a producer or distributor is in the room in the cinema, I am ready. So that's why another tip I want to say is be ready. Don't wait to have a validation or like, even if I'm not doing well with festival, I'm still writing the limited series.
Amazing.
I'm not waiting to be picked by a festival to write it. I am writing it right now. And a friend told me, your 10 years plan, do it in 1 year. Of course, it's not going to happen in 1 year. But you're gonna go faster.
Yeah,
you're gonna go so much more if you say, I need to be ready now.
Yeah, always dream big. Like if your goal is to earn 100K in a year, like that's massive. You're like, oh, I'm never. But I guarantee you will earn more money this year than you would have done if your goal was to earn 10K this year. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
If you want to check out Yorgo's trailer, which is brilliant, by the way, it is on Twitter at @trigger_short1. Check it out. Tina, you've been so patient.
Instagram too, and Instagram and website. So after we can share the links to all.
We'll share everything.
Yeah.
But Tina, now for something completely different. We've gone from feature film to short film going into a series. You're doing a one-woman theatre show at Camden Fringe Festival.
Well, so it's for two.
Brighton, Brighton, Camden, and then Hope Theatre. Am I right?
So it's Brighton Fringe, and then Camden Fringe, and for the Camden Fringe, we'll be at the Hope Theatre. So that's why you had the Hope Theatre in mind. But so it's two Fringe festivals in one summer.
Brilliant. Tell us all about this.
Yeah, so I want to start by saying like how I got the idea, because Andrea got it from a picture, Yorgo got it from a show, The Spark of Memory. And the idea for this play came to me with a conversation I was having with my best friend. So this just showed for everyone that's like, oh, I want to write my own work, but I don't know where to get the ideas. The idea can come from anywhere. Like literally, it was just a conversation I was having with my best friend who she lives in Barcelona. And she volunteers every Sunday at a local community that helps the homeless people in Barcelona. And when she was talking, she just had these massive, like, bright eyes filled with, like, fulfillment and happiness. And I was like, this feeling that I can see in your eyes, I want to capture that and show it to the world, because it was just so amazing to see how happy and fulfilled she felt by hearing the stories of these homeless people and how she was helping them, and to see also how they progressed week after week. And so I was like, okay, I think I want to make something from this. But throughout my whole life, I've always had various ideas of things. I was like, oh, this would be a great story. This would be a great film or something. But then I was always like, but I don't know how to write. So unless I find someone that wants to write my idea, it's not going to happen. And that's what always stopped me from creating stories. But then after this conversation, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to try. And I did a course at National Youth Theatre about writing for stage and screen. Because at the beginning, I was like, this is an idea. I didn't know if it was going to be a play, a series, a film, a musical. I even thought, because it would be so cool with songs and dances. And then I was like, okay, I also need to think about how this will help me in my career. And I also need to think practically. And I don't have money or time to arrange a big cast. So I'm going to make it into a one-woman show, and I'm going to make it for me. So even though it's the story of my best friend, I'm playing my best friend. But it's inspired by true events. It's not based on true events because, of course, like the setting, the people in it are all real people. But then the way it progresses and ends, it's sort of like what I made of the story to make it even more entertaining. And that's how it started. So that's just a little reminder for everyone. You can find inspiration anywhere. And
amazing.
Yeah. But then just like what Jorgo and Andrea was saying, it's all been a learning curve, because I tried to put on my own shows when I was back in uni, but everything is more difficult the second you leave uni and you realize how great it was to be surrounded by people your age that have
once
time
that
to do
bubble's
things.
popped and you're out of it and you're in the real world.
Just so tough, you know? And I had to have like little interviews with people because I needed a producer and I needed a director, but I didn't know anyone in London because I'm new in London. And I was like, how do I meet these people? I don't know. And thank God Facebook exists. And I was able to just put out a little, this is what I'm doing. Is anybody interested? And I had a couple conversation for producer and a couple conversation for directors. And what Jorgo said, I just had to be honest. And I was like, this is not even a low budget production. This is a pay what you must production. So I have to pay for the Camden Fringe and the Brighton Fringe and the theaters. But that's as much as I can put in, you know, like there's nothing else. And they were like, that's okay, we can do profit share. And so that's what we're doing now. But then I'm going to have to pay the guy who films the performance, because I was set on filming it, because I'm from Italy. I went to uni in York, and my bubble of friends and peers, they're all like all over Europe. And they wouldn't be able to come watch the show. And so I was like, I want to film this, not only to send it to cast and directors and everything, but so I can share it with the people that support me, and they can come to Brighton or they can come to London. And I had to actually hire a guy that's going to film it. And again, with him, I had to be honest. And I was like, look, I don't have money to pay like your full wager of 200 per day, but I can pay you 150 for all of it. And so at the end, it was after a little bit of like, you know, oh, can you do this? And I do that. I was like, okay, let's agree on this. And I had to draft up a contract for the first time in my life and send it to him to sign. And that's the same of what Andrea was saying. The second I realized I am giving someone a job, I felt so happy, like happier than when I finished writing the script, happier than when I realized I was going to go and do it at the Brighton Fringe. I was like, this person is earning money because of something that I created. And I felt so cool. So it's definitely something that should also drive people. It's not about creating a job for yourself, but also creating a job for everyone in the industry, because we all need it. And so, and that were the two main things I wanted to touch on. What else do you want to know about the play?
Well, I think it's brilliant, because I saw something on your Instagram where you've been dead honest about like the price and you know what you can and can't pay for, but you're doing something really cool where it's like, even if you can't make it, you can donate the price of a ticket, and if I win, I'm going to if we make target, I'm going to go swim in the Brighton Sea. Oh yeah. So there's a couple of like ideas I've had to try and get more money to break even, and they've been like incredibly amazing. So, and this is something that I would recommend to everyone doing theater shows or short films. Basically, because most of my peers are from all over Europe, and they can't come, but they want to support. I've had a lot of people saying, oh, I kind of want to help you get this done, but I can't come. Can I buy the ticket without coming? And I'm like, well, that's not really good, because then the seat is empty and I don't really like this. So what I've done is I started a fundraiser saying, after everybody already knew about the project, because I've been talking about it on my social media for ages now. And I said, if you donate the price of a ticket, you will receive the film of the performance with subtitles, because also most people that know me are Italian. And you'll be able to watch this from your couch as soon as like we're done with the festival run at the end of August.
And that's already helped massively, because I've had people that went to middle school with me reaching out, donating £15. And I'm like, I haven't talked to you in 10 years. And now you're helping me because you want to see my show. It's been so humbling. Like, I cried when I saw that this person donated, because I was like, you really care about me. And I've got friends who are not donating.
What I like about that, though, is that you're thinking outside the box. Again, something that's coming up time with Andrea and time with Yoga and time again with yourself, is that you encounter these problems, and instead of letting that excuse stop you, you've gone, how can I turn this into an advantage? And you've found a way that all these people that do want to support you, I would never have thought of getting a cameraman in to film like a production. I mean, obviously I've done it before, but it's been the camera at the back of the auditorium. Like, you see all the audience's head, you can't really see what's going on. And I've had that for my own reference, but having an actual cameraman there to film it all and then go, do you know what? If you donate the price of a ticket, you will get to see it. Regardless if you can come or not, you will. I promise you, will get to see it. I think that's amazing.
And the virtual tickets basically already paid for the cost of the cameraman.
Exactly, right?
I've donated more virtual tickets, so there will be more people watching me on their TVs than people at the show, which is quite depressing, but it's good. And so now I have basically the money to tell this guy, on the first day we filmed from 2 shots, and on the second day we filmed 2 other shots, and then it's going to be like edited so that it actually looks good. So I'm really proud of that idea, and I really want to recommend it to everyone. And this is something that would be good to discuss with Jorg and Andrea. I've always been more for film and short films and web series, but I need to think practically. And with the show, I can get the money back with ticket sales, if I sell enough tickets. But that's how you get the money back. With a short film, most of the time it's an investment that you put in, and most likely you're not going to get back. You know, and this is why I decided to do Just Saying as a play first. But the final plan, it is for it to be a limited series of like 6 episodes. So yeah, when Jorg said it, I was like, oh my God, we're on the same boat. So I've already started like planning out season 1, and then season 2 will be like like a sequel on what happens after the play ends, because it ends at a pretty like, I don't want to spoil anything, but it ends at a twist. And so that will be season 2.
I want to see it now. I want to have a ticket. To come
Very
to your
good. But I'm going to say the dates as well. So 28th and 29th of May in Brighton. So that's 10 days from now. So I'm freaking out. And then at 12th, 13th and 14th of August in London.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll then let you know the London ones. Tickets
and you can check it out on Twitter at @justsaying_the_play, and that's Just Saying, JUSTSAYIN. There's no G _the play on Twitter, and go and support everything that Tina's doing there. But I think what you just said there is going to bring me on to like a question that everybody listening to this is going to have: money to invest in a short film, money to invest in a feature film, money to invest in putting on a show. Like I said, I put a show on at the Manchester Fringe, and when I realised I had to pay for, well, I was lucky enough, the writer was my friend, so I didn't have to pay for rights for the play, which I'm guessing you don't either. But the theatre venue, like the venue cost, the technician cost,
insurance, something you never think about.
Yeah,
the
insurance. I was like, what?
Posters, flyers, props, cost. Like I'm just throwing my pen around. Like everything adds up. So let's. But anybody who's listening to this now, let's give them some actionable advice, where they're on the fence of going, I want to create my own thing, whether it is a web series or whether it is a theatre show or whatever it is. Let's give them some actionable advice that you've learned from doing all this that can save them time and maybe even money. But you know, what can they implement in their careers going forward? Just for money, or like advice on any sort of issue I found that I had to learn how to resolve? A bit of both. Okay. Like a bit of both. Whoever wants to kick off. I have something in mind already, and it's been a bit of a struggle for me. And this is why it's a learning curve. So don't expect to know what you're doing, because you're not going to know what you're doing. Yes. You're going to learn what to do. Yeah.
when I sort of started this partnership with the director and the producer, because it was a profit share, I didn't draw up any contract. It was
Sorry,
just
Tina,
like,
you've said profit share a couple of times there, and I'm aware that people might not know what profit share is. Do you want to explain that to our listeners and our viewers?
Yeah, so that means the people get on board for the project, but they're not going to get paid for what they do on the project. They're going to get paid only once the show is ended. If there's been a profit, it's going to be divided by this main sort of inner circle of creatives. So in this case, it will be shared by me, the producer, and the director.
So basically,
3 of us.
No one makes any money until Tina recoups all of her costs. That's the venue hire, the technicians, like everything that needs to be paid out. Yeah. Once you've hit that and got that money back, then do people start making a percentage of what has been made. Cool.
And most fringe shows use this because it's the only way of try and get people involved. And sometimes maybe you can break even and get a profit. Other times it doesn't happen, but it's good to tell people that, exactly, just be honest what Jorgo was saying. And I found Sean and Lara, which I'm incredibly devoted to because they've been helping a lot. But what I would suggest people, even if you're not paying someone or you're paying them very little, is always draw up a contract. And in the contract, you can also be honest, it's a profit share or it's a £10 per day. I don't know. But at least there's something's written that can say, but I'm going to need you to respect these deadlines, or I'm going to need you to be there on time, a rehearsal, or I'm going to need you to do this and this, where there's an outline of all their duties. And then if they respect them, then they'll get the profit share at the end. If they don't, then you can have discussion of why aren't you doing this? Or, oh, now you've got less time. Okay, well, then maybe we need to find someone else. Mm-hmm. But by not having that contract at the beginning, I've had a couple of times where I was like, well, I can't ask these people to do more because I never had a written agreement signed by them that this is exactly what they needed to do.
So for the actors there that are listening to this now, go like, oh, Jesus, right now I need to find a contract. I don't know how to write a contract. I'm not a lawyer. No. Where did you go to find contracts?
I can find, I'll need to get back to you. It's basically, it was a free template thing online.
I'll tell you exactly where you go, guys. It's a brilliant website. And it's write this down, okay? It's GOOGLE.com.
Yeah. I was writing it down. I was like, GOO.
Anything you want to know about anything in this industry, you type it into that search box and it will come up. You will find contract templates.
Yeah. That's what I did. I went on Google and I was like, contract template. And I think the first thing was a website that's asks you a few questions and then draw up the contract for you. Ooh. And you can just do 7-day trial. So you download the contracts you've created and then you stop paying the subscription straight away. But at least you've got the contracts you need, and I sent those out.
See?
So that's how easy.
Everything.
Yeah. So that would be my first recommendation. Whether it's a no budget or a low budget one, do that because it's going to help you sort of maintain control over everything. Onto someone else.
Yeah.
Who else wants to jump in with their either money tips or advice for people?
You want to go first?
Oh, I was just going to say, when you're doing trying to get some money for your short films, proof of concept, some things that you can look at is product placement. If you go to somewhere big like Costa, for example, they might want to know what the script is and want to approve things. But if you're going to someone that's local, then you're giving a shout out to somebody who's local in the area as well.
And what is product placement?
So product placement, for example, if they're getting coffees from a cafe, you could be sitting outside the cafe and have they're having a little advertisement in your film.
I mean, I don't advertise anything really. Do you know what I mean? I never. No. I don't like advertising things at all.
Me neither.
But yeah, product placement. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, you
Would
can.
they pay you? Like, did you ever find that they actually sponsor your film, or are they just happy for you to use their location?
This is what we were going to use when we were going to do the web series, is we were looking at different places we could film and then go and ask if there was a particular like hotel or cafe in the background, or even use them as a location. There's a grief scene where we were going to have the parents' house full of flowers, and we were going to approach a florist to see if, you know, you can get the boxes of the flowers with the name of the florist on, to see whether they would either give money or donate the flowers.
Yeah.
Any kind of thing like that can help.
Ways and means around everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like always, I think the thing that's coming up again here is just think outside the box. And as we mentioned earlier with what Yoko was saying, is just ask. It doesn't have to be an actor. It doesn't have to be like somebody in the crew. Like, if you need something and you can't afford it, ask. The worst they can say is no.
It's surprising how many people you know as well that you don't realise until you
network.
When you start brainstorming. I was going to say brainwashing then. Definitely brainwash.
Don't do that.
Brainwash everyone.
Brainwash everyone, and they will give you the money. I'll send you the hypno. Once you start brainstorming, you realise the networks that you wouldn't necessarily think that you have. There's a few people I want to approach that once we've got the finished product, there's a couple of
so true. And about that, I went to the BFI Flair a few weeks ago, a month ago, and I was going with a friend who's an actor, and then I met a few people that I, like 5 people, and he looked at me and was like, you know people? I was like, no, there's just 5 people in this festival stuff, but I don't know anyone, 5 people here. I was like, oh, I know people. Yeah, maybe, yes. And actually, you don't realize, like, my networking skill is quite good. I know people. And then
So what about you, Yoga? What would your advice be to people wanting to create their own work?
So I want to come back what you say about a job, 9 to 5, or a part-time job. I work part-time, 3 days a week for Eurostar, so I'm cabin crew. And before, it was very difficult for me mentally, because I was like, but I am an artist. I want to be a jobbing full-time actor, filmmaker. So why is that happening? But then instead of going to this, negative spiral, I say, I call it flip the coins. I want to do a short film. I need money. So as Andrea did, we did a crowdfunding on Indiegogo. We applied for the BFI. Then we tried to have product placement, because it's actually a friend that I didn't know works in product placement for film. And I didn't know that was the part-time job or full-time job she was doing it. So she's an actress too. And she was like, so she gave me like an email to approach products and how to do the product placement, like contract or whatever. We almost got it a big one, but I can't say which product is or what is it, because it's the plot of the story. So
it's fine.
Sorry, I can't say it.
But go watch the film. There you go. That's a little teaser there for you.
But we were almost like close to have it, but because it's about all the images, and if they want the products to be in the film, it has to have a positive, obviously, impact for them. But because the story is a bit tricky, it's positive, but yes, in the film, it doesn't look like it's positive for them. So we didn't get it, but it's fine. Now I know when, for the next project, I can reach out to, products and stuff. So you have this, and come back on your job, actually. So we use the crowdfunding to do the shooting, but now it's coming from our own pocket. So literally the festival submissions, and guys, it costs. Just be ready when you're going to submit to festival. It's a budget, but I say to myself, as Andrea said before, if I can't invest in myself, who is going to do it for me?
Exactly.
So now it's all coming from our own pocket. So I'm using my part-time job to invest in festival submissions. And so use your part-time. Say your part-time job is an investment for your career, and it's temporary. Soon you're going to be a jobbing actor and filmmaker.
Love it. Go on, Tina. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I was in sales for 2 years, knowing that sales pays really good money in commissions and stuff. And I knew that every money I would get in commission, I was going to invest in my acting career. So it's also like knowing that everything you're getting from the job you don't want to have, it's because you're then going to have money to invest. So the reason why we're able to invest now, it's because we did have to make a little bit of sacrifice before, but it wasn't a sacrifice. It was just a strategy.
Love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, love that. Yes.
Yeah.
Andrea, you were going to say something there as well.
So whenever you're finding, it's more mindset this. So whenever you're struggling about what you're going to do next and you find yourself in a block end, you need to get a big piece of white paper and write 2 columns, and this is it. So on one side is can and the other side is can't, and you put a great big cross at the can't because we don't want that. It gets the brain to figure out we're only going to put the ones that we can do.
Excellent.
Nice.
And that gets you started on that. And listen as well, there's people out there that have made it because we think that they're some kind of gods that have just had these like Denzel Washington and Jim Carrey and these great actors. They all started with humble beginnings. And if you find these round tables and these inspirational speeches that they've put on YouTube is a fantastic platform of just listening to people who have succeeded and their stories. And if they can do it, they're not gifted from the gods.
Jumping on that, if somebody out there has had less than you have now and have made it further than where you are now, then there's no reason why you can't.
Exactly.
There are people that have come from Africa or like third world countries and are crushing it at the top of their career. And if they can do it with less than what you've got now, there's no reason why you can't. And bringing it back to what you said there, Jurgo, about the job. Yes. And kind of what Tina was saying as well about it not being a sacrifice, it's a strategy. Use that job, that muggle job, which I love that actors have claimed that as their own now, muggle. Use that muggle job for what it is and for nothing more. It's going to pay your rent, it's going to pay your bills, and strategize, but sacrifice like going out on a Saturday night with all your friends, going and getting drunk, like, and save that money to invest in the career, something that you so badly want to do. And not only is it money that you need to sacrifice, it's time. So yes, you are, for example, working a 9 to 5. Chances are you come in at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, however long it takes to get home from work, and you're going to sit down, you're going to watch TV for the rest of the night. No, we stop that now. You use the time from when you get in from 6 to 10 o'clock at night. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, that's like another 5 hours or 11 or however long, you only need really 7 hours to sleep. So however long you're at home, use that time to invest in your career. And then it just keeps recycling. And then before you know it, you'll have a feature film like Andrea. You'll have a web series like Jurgo. You'll have an Olivier Award-winning show like Tina. Like, it's going to happen. But you've got to aim big. You've got to put the time and the money in. Like, yes, we all want to sit down and watch Netflix. Tina told me that she just binged 2 seasons of Netflix yesterday.
But that's because I haven't watched it in 2 weeks any evening.
Exactly.
And I just decided that's the day I'm going to do it.
That's fine.
So you just got to also be like smart about your time,
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, yes, we all want to do all these things, but sometimes sacrifice that and you can do it later. You can do it when you've got a bit of downtime. But
I'm at a stage now where, because I sort of told myself, I'm going to go into fully take the plunge and like be an actor and not have any part-time job on the sides, which I'm going to have soon anyway. But because I want to give myself 5 years, to get somewhere. Right. And in these 5 years, I'm like, I don't want to go traveling for 6 months, even though it's something I would really want to do. Right. But I'm like, I'm going to wait 5 years before doing that. And it's this time where I'm like, I told myself, I just want to be in London, ready to take any opportunities, that all my friends and my boyfriend as well, they're like, let's go to Thailand. Let's go 3 months to Italy. And I'm like, guys, this is a moment I've decided to not do that. And now they're always like asking me to do all these wonderful things. And I'm like, no, I'll pass.
But just think where you'll be in 5 years' time.
Exactly.
And then you can turn around to them and go, come on, let's go to Thailand. And they're like, no, I've got to work. Like,
yeah, I'm actually going to Thailand next month for a full feature film, so
exactly,
guys.
Exactly. Yeah. So before we start wrapping up, guys, is there any other quick words of wisdom you want to give our listeners and our viewers?
Get into a mindset of telling yourself that you're worth it, that you can do it. Put affirmations out, listen to positive things on the internet, and completely block out anybody that will pull you down.
Yeah, your diet is more than just what you eat, it's what you consume.
Yes.
And if you're consuming negative things, you're just going to be a negative person. So only consume positivity.
You know,
I love that.
Yeah.
There's so many like inspirational quotes in this podcast. Like I'm gonna write them all down and hang them on my wall.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and rewatch this.
Yeah,
brilliant. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Before we end, I ask all my guests this question. It's a tough one. If you could choose only one feature from Act on This to listen to, what would it be?
The feature.
Okay.
I just love the webinars.
Yeah, but which one?
Oh, Lewis Arnold.
Just the Lewis Arnold and the Sasha one.
Yeah, the time one. Yeah.
The time. Yes, that's on YouTube. That's actually a free one for anybody to go and listen to. We had Lewis Arnold, we had Stephen Graham, we had Sasha, the editor, we had some more of the cast and crew, and the producer. The names are all escaping me right now, but it is absolutely amazing. It's on YouTube. Where you're watching this, go and have a look for that. Definitely one to check out.
The one I'd recommend is, and this is like just a personal choice, the one with Bodhi Talent Agency, I think was Archie speaking.
Archie Fennell.
Yeah, because the chat with them made me realize, well, first of all, that's the agency I want to be with. And second of all, that an actor needs to have a business mind, you know, and I knew that before, and I've always had a kind of business mind but here in an agent saying, you need to know not what roles you want in 10 years time, but you need to know what do you want your next role to be like, because then we can work on that. And then also once you realize that, you can write that part for you and so on and so on. It's just like, take it step by step, have actionable steps that you know what you're going to do. And so I think that's a feature that for me was like the best 10 out of 10. And plus I love Archie.
Archie is my agent.
I know, and I hate you so much for that, Petch.
I would recommend you drop him an email, say that you've been speaking to Petch. Okay. And Petch has advised you to drop him 2 free tickets to see your show.
Ooh,
for him and Ricky.
Yeah,
I can't guarantee he will go, but
what about the dogs? They're not allowed.
Are they not allowed in the theatre?
No.
Well, just say you'll give them treats. Okay.
I think I sent him an email, but that was before I had mail track, so I don't know if it got read or not.
I definitely drop him an email. Say, Petch has said, we've been talking about my one-woman show, and it sounds right up your street. Petch has told me to invite you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yogo, which one feature would you recommend?
So I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the actress, but I think she's in the Small and Big Creature series. I don't know exactly how the name, but
Small Creatures, Great and Small.
Thank you. And then
Rachel
made a short film that was nominated for the Oscars.
Yes, wow. This ties in brilliantly with this. Rachel Shenton was an actress in Hollyoaks who, when leaving, wanted to make it big in America and found it hard to break through. And she has a deaf father-in-law. Stepfather, sorry. She has a stepdad, a deaf stepfather. So she knew sign. And again, thinking outside the box, she wrote to all these people saying that she can sign. They wrote her in one of the series in America, and she had to learn ASL. And then from there, she had all this experience and wrote her short film called The Silent Child. Again, knowing nothing about writing, knowing nothing about creating a film. She wrote this short film and won an Oscar from it.
Wow.
So think big. Go listen to that one.
Guys.
It's brilliant. Guys, thank you.
I just want to add about festivals, because we mentioned the Oscars. So for people that don't know, because I've learned this through festival, so how to get nominated for an Oscar or BAFTA, actually you have festivals that are eligible for a BAFTA or an Oscar. So yes, that's a budget, it's going to be an investment, but aim for those festivals that you can have the next step. Yes, we dream big, maybe we will not be selected, But can you imagine if your film is selected in those festivals, the Oscar, the Academy Awards team or the BAFTA team can watch your film, even if you're not selected. It's just like, think about this, right? Like, oh my
we
God,
had some other guests on recently. It was Bryony, who is an assistant agent at Nicola Bolton. She has also set up to be a producer, and she did a short film called Roy with BAFTA winning David Bradley. Roy got through to the short round of the BAFTAs. Unfortunately, it wasn't picked to be nominated, but you go into the festivals, then you get nominated down to the long kind of form, which is 10 films, then down to 5, and she got down to 5. So it is doable. It's all in your grasp.
You never know who's going to watch your film. Maybe you're not even nominated, but maybe someone will be interested and be like, and they will contact you. It's like, actually, I want to do a feature film or a limited series. So,
just to wrap this up, we've talked about big productions here. We talked about feature films and short films and one-woman plays, and where you need everybody else. You can create your own work on your own. Follow my Twitter account as we're speaking. I have just released it's a micro project. It's 2 minutes 20, and it's just me. And I filmed it, I directed it, I wrote it, and I starred in it. And it's me and a camera, and that's all it is. And you can do that. You can learn about filmmaking and craft and editing and things like that just on your own.
Underline learn, like you said. You can
everything
learn.
is learned.
Everything
is learned. You will, as somebody mentioned earlier, I think it was Tina, you never know going in everything. And no matter how many times you do it, you will learn something else. So don't let that put you off. That's not an excuse. It's everybody learns on the job.
Take classes and workshops.
And to anyone who's listening now, if you have an idea for a project and you just need someone to support you and like collaborate with, email me or DM me or Andrea and Jorgen. We can all work together and pitch as well. We can collaborate and make new stuff.
So if you need a director or co-director,
I love producing. I'm getting into producing. So
crazy.
See,
Andrea will write. Jorgen will direct. I'll produce.
And I'll
act in it.
I'll act in it right now.
Guys, if you are listening on the audio experience, thank you so much. I say it every time for sticking with us this far. If you're watching on YouTube, again, thank you so much. Please, I always say it, subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, stay alert to whenever we drop any new content. If you're listening on the audio experience, drop us a 5-star review. If you've liked this chat, drop us a review as well and spread it out to anybody who needs to hear this message. Please, please, please follow my lovely guests on Twitter. We have Andrea Watson and Adina.
Anthony, that's my nickname from when I was a little girl. Anthony.
So that is on the screen, but if you're listening, that is at AN for November, DAN for November, IN for November, A, and Adina. We have Yorgo at Yorgo Glanatis on Twitter, and we have Tina at TinaZucco_actor. As I say, they are on screen now. Please follow me on Twitter at Petch_act on this for all my act on this related content. Or if you just want to follow me and see what I'm up to, it's at Lee Petcher. Please follow Act on This on across all our social medias at Act on This TV. And join our Facebook group. It is free to join. That's facebook.com/groups/act on this. Wow, that's a lot to say, isn't it, guys? Thank you.
You can breathe now.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us on this chat. It's been super educational for me. It's been super educational for everybody else listening as well. Yeah. I'm going to sign off with my catchphrase. Not the act on this one, as you've all watched Petch on this, Petch and Pals. Petch on this, that's my new side project.
That should have been the
Petch
name.
On this.
That should have been the name.
If you've watched Petch and Pals, you know my catchphrase. Do you all know my catchphrase?
I didn't get to the end. I always thought before.
See, this is how I know they were lying at the beginning.
No, but I
because
did
when
watch
it gets to this,
episode 2.
Okay, so I say ta for coming. You point at the camera and go You've been a right laugh. Thank you again from me, guys. I'm here. If you need me on the community, we're always here. Reach out to my lovely guests. They will help you. They were once in your shoes. Every master once started out as a beginner. There you go, Tina. That's another quote for you. Every master once started out as a beginner. So yes, please do reach out.
Yeah.
So with that, ta for coming.
You've been 3, 2, 1. You've been a right laugh.
Do you know what? We're going to do that again because that was rubbish.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Ta for coming.
You've been a right
laugh.
Yes.